Hey, this is Joshua here with I Cut Grass LLC. I'm going to talk with you briefly about what I do for collections for customers when they don't pay their bills. The first thing I want to say before I move any further along in the video, if you haven't subscribed to my channel here on YouTube, please do so, and please spread the link to other people so they can benefit from this. This is specifically for guys and gals that are getting started in the landscaping industry or might have been into the industry for some time. Currently, it's March the 3rd, 2022, about 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Please understand, I'm not an attorney. I am not telling you you need to go do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to share my program, my protocol. Always have a contract with the customer for work being done to cover your rear end. It states what the expectations are for all parties that are involved in the contract and includes what's going to be billed, how it's going to be paid, if there's going to be attorney's fees if the bill isn't paid, if there's collections efforts, so forth and so on. What liability is, create a contract. I've created my contracts from the tenure I have in the industry over the years that I've worked in the industry. And at times I've had attorneys review them. That's the best thing you can do. Find an attorney that knows what he or she is doing, that's familiar with the industry, and can, consider and think of things when they're creating the contract for you, like liability issues, details of work to be performed, payments, when they're expected, the forms of payments, late fees, so forth and so on. All that said, here's what I would do. As I mentioned, you have a contract with the customer. This is what I do. I have a contract with the customer that outlines all the expectations associated with the work to be performed. The customer is, in my contracts, they pay at time of service or they pay in advance. They choose one of those options. I don't get the payment, there's a late fee that's applied to it and an APR that runs. If they flat out tell me they're not going to pay the bill, this is how I handle that. At that point in time, I have no reason to believe that they would pay the bill, especially if they send me an email. Maybe they're disputing the contract. What I would immediately do is go back to the contract, reinforce the services that were performed, my expectations of the payment, and then give them an option as to a payment form. I'm going to say, you can pay me with a credit card, you can pay me with a check, or whatever. What would be most convenient for you? They either respond, they're not going to pay you, or they don't. They ignore you. It's the same doggone thing. They're not going to pay you. They're trying to avoid it, because the farther that a customer gets from the date of service, of that service having been performed, the less emotionally attached they are to that service. Collection agencies only get about an 18% return on what's given to them to work. And when you get as little as 6 months out from the date of service, there's a 50% probability you're not going to be paid. So we want to be on the customer from day one. Just the professional, normal statement invoices. Every 30 days, there's that late fee, the APR. They flat out tell me, I'm not going to pay my bill. Okay, I send a demand payment, a letter. These are on this date, these services were performed within the terms of the contract. This is the total amount due. We can accept payments, X, Y, and Z. If you can't make this payment in one lump sum, if you would like to make up a payment arrangement, we will set, a monthly payment over the next 4 or 5 months at this amount. Boom, send it out. They don't respond, 30 days later, send a final demand letter. The same thing. That's what I'm going to do. What I am doing is I'm showing that customer that I'm giving them a reasonable opportunity to pay their bill. I'm remaining professional. I'm not cussing. I'm not threatening them, to beat them up or to hurt them. I'm not yelling at them. Under no circumstances do you go back to the place where you worked to possess anything you installed that puts me in a position where I could be liable for a variety of things. I'm not going to do that, okay? They don't pay me still. At that point in time, after the final demand letter that I sent them, if they haven't paid me, what I am going to do is I may forward them to a collection agency, which would also have a legal service set up in the event that they couldn't collect, or I might hire a local attorney, or I might pursue them in small claims court. I like the idea of pursuing them in small claims court because I don't want to pay out any of the monies that I earn to an attorney or to a collection agency, because in most cases, it's hard to get a judgment from a client or from a judge for those additional expenses. So my highest probability of receiving the most amount of monies back is to pursue that claim in small claims court if it meets their financial threshold, and that's what I'm going to do. Of course, I could also think, you know what, man, this is too much stress. I'm going to live and learn. I'm going to write it off. I'm just going to forget about it. You can do that as well if you want to. You can do whatever you want. You got to come up with your own program and your own protocol. But get yourself an attorney and have contracts set up, and get yourself set up with a collection agency. These are things that, if my son wants to start his own business, I would talk with them and talk with them about considering. Because, look, I just want to be paid for the work that I did, right? You want to be paid for the work that you did. If it was done within the terms of the contract, that's not an unrealistic expectation. But people become very savvy, so to speak, and weaseling out of ways to pay for what they agreed to pay. And it's always the people that say, we pay our bills, we pay our bills. And I haven't had to deal with this many times over the last, 14, 15 years at all. It's just been a less than one hand, I think, maybe 3 or 4 times where I've had to deal with this. But it helps you to have a plan set up. We want to, what I want to do for myself is eliminate the possibility of losing money because I didn't have a contract, or I didn't follow invoicing, right? Or I didn't, give the client a fair opportunity, number of chances to pay their bill. I just want to be paid for the work that I had. And I'm not going to risk, getting into a confrontation with somebody. I'm not going to threaten someone to intimidate their life. I'm not going to go back and plow them in if I did snow removal, and then create another liability for myself, because Murphy's Law would be I go and I plow them in. They can't get out. They lose work. Now they can sue me for that. Or there's a fire that night. The fire department, it delays their ability to get in. Someone dies. And now I have to worry about, on my conscience, oh crap, did I contribute to someone's death? Oh crap, now I'm going to be sued in addition to that. It just gets real hairy. So you just let it go, consider it a loss. When I train myself to consider those types of situations as a loss, in the event that I end up getting a judgment or the customer pays the bill, then it is like a bonus to me. And it also helps me to eliminate the stress. I'm not upset during the entire process, right? That, man, this guy owes me money. Man, this guy owes me money. I'm not going to do that, which is another reason why when you're in business and you're operating, you're taking a chunk of your income and you're putting it into an account, because not everybody pays their bills. And you want to make sure you're set up to pay your bills on time no matter what. So you're saving a percentage and getting yourself in a position where you're financially able to recover from temporary and inconsistencies or monies that aren't paid. I hope this helps you guys. I really do. Sometimes some of this stuff isn't fun to listen to, but what I have done, again, to set myself up, create a contract, the terms of the contract, regular invoicing, late fees, etc. They tell me they're not going to pay. I send them a demand letter for a payment, not a threatening one. This is what you owe. We need this paid by this date. They don't respond. I send a final demand letter. This is what you owe within the terms. This is when it was done. These are the payments we make, and we can set up this payment arrangement. I still don't hear from them. I then go and I either give it to a collection agency, an attorney, or I file a claim in small claims court. That works for me. I just want paid for what I did. You guys deserve to be paid too. Peace.